So it's different. There's some of them have the same contractors, but there are 8 different contracts. Rideau Canal corridor, pretty much from downtown Rideau Canal, you see from Chateau Laurier all the way down the canal to here, Dowswick. This is one of our, well, it is our biggest contract. 4 area government site, which is along Confederation Boulevard, but those sites were not owned by the NCC but managed by the NCC, such as Parliament Hill, Supreme Court, Museum, Canadian Museum of History, and Confederation Boulevard and the NCC land are the lands that were owned by the NCC along the Confederation Boulevard, which is like Major Seal Park, Confederation Park. Those are NCC owned and managed. And Quebec lands on the Gatineau side. We also have Jacques Cartier Park and Gatineau Park. There's some of the entrances as well. 66 North, Eastern Land included the Rockeries, and Western Land, Maple Lawn Garden, and Maple Lawn Garden and Farms Drive, which is just west of here. South Parkland, which is Hofsbeck Park. Gatineau Park would be the Gatineau Park entrance. Mackenzie King Estate, you visit there in the summertime. We also have a tea house open in Mackenzie King Estate, and official residences, which, like I mentioned, 24 Sussex, Rideau Hall, the farm, and 7 Rideau Gates, and Storno Wade, all this National Guest House. And this is a shot from behind the Canadian Museum of History. And you see this is, we call this the Malak bat, is named after the photographer, Canadian photographer Malak Harsh. It's his favorite to live in here. And then it's a view of the Parliament Hill building. And this is his iconic pictures. It's also in the Canadian building. The summertime in the same bed is totally different view. Different sceneries because we use a different type of plantings. This is Major Seal Park. The theme for this year is kaleidoscope, so that we use a different type of tulips to make the effect. So it's right beside National Art Gallery. And this is summertime on the same bed, so we use a lot of tropicals because for annuals and annual plant. For the tulip program, we use over 100 different varieties of tulips. For the annual program, we use over 250 types of species, hybrid, and cultivar of annual planting. So this is Jacques Cartier Park in springtime. In summertime, then we start to introduce a lot of mixes as our mitigation measure to climate change. So this is Commissioners Park. This is last year, and we're at our east entrance. And this is the summertime. Sometimes we put some annuals, biennials. If we plant perennials, we try to salvage them and put in an other park space. At the end of the season. So why do we have? Well, we're going to talk about the history of the Capital Forum program. This is 1882 on Parliament Hill, and the tower looks different from the Peace Tower because before this is called Victoria Tower, and then we had a great fire in early 1900s, and that was destroyed, and only the Parliament Hill, only the library in Parliament Hill was survived that fire. So this was 1882. When you look at the flowers at that time, unfortunately, we only have black and white at the time, and we should, with the AI technology, we might be able to make it colorful. But this is 1882. We, as you can see on Parliament Hill, we already have some annual flowers that are tropical plants. So at the time, these are more intricate design. And look at the scale of those planting, comparison to the, in comparison to the benches, is pretty big, but very intricate and very labor-intensive design for the floral program. And as you can see, these are the castor beans, calicosia, alocosias, and were used on Parliament Hill. Those are all tropical plants that were probably brought to Canada from other countries. So there was Major Hill Park in 1910. As you can see, we still have the old Victoria Tower, the background of Parliament Hill. And there are bananas and palms, and all these annual plants were introduced to Canada at the time, but it's only for the summer season for the annuals. And in early 1900s, there were buggies, and there's most of, at the time, the landscaping was done for the viewing of slow traffic, and they're all linear because it's along the roadway. And this is 1910 in Rockcliffe Government Greenhouse, which is in Rockcliffe Park right now. It's a sports club now. There's only one building. One of the potting houses survived. I think it's this one here. So before, there's no greenhouses or no Home Depot or Canadian Tire that you can get into the garden center to buy flowers. So the government of Canada would have to come up with their own plans. So this was what it was before, very close to the Rockcliffe Rockeries right now, and down there would be the river house down on the river. And so in the early 1900s, it's 1916, the Allen Garden in Toronto. Tulip is like a very scarcity. It's like a luxury item that you have to order from the Netherlands, and then it's shipped here. And the transatlantic shipment takes about 3 months, and then when you open up the boxes, maybe some of the bulbs survive, some of them don't. Sometimes we have diseases. So there's not a lot of variety at the time, so they divide it mostly by color. Try to make some patterns that would stretch to make enough display for the visual impact in landscaping. So this is Queen's Park in Toronto, 1916. So since the 1930s, because the introduction of motor cars,